Everyone has been captivated by the Duggar family for a long time, thanks to their appearances on the popular TLC reality show 19 Kids and Counting. They have 19 children, lead a very pious lifestyle, and appear to have the ideal family dynamic. For these reasons, the Duggars have received both admiration and criticism. The youngest of the Duggar children, Josie, has been the center of attention on more than one occasion. She overcame several obstacles on her incredible journey from being born prematurely to becoming a young adult. Now, in a major shift, Josie Duggar has begun a new phase of her life, one that represents development, transformation, and independence. Launching a fresh chapter, Josie's wedding. Josie recently tied the knot, an exciting and liberating milestone that signifies the start of her adult life. A large number of people who have been following Josie's story since she was born were there during her wedding, which was held in a picturesque outdoor ceremony. As Josie and her long-term boyfriend exchanged wedding vows, the atmosphere was electric with love, joy, and the promise of a fresh start. The path that Josie took leading up to the altar was fraught with difficulties. Josie Duggar was raised by her parents, Jim, Bob, and Michelle, who instilled in her a strong sense of family values. The family's traditional Christian values and the expectation that she would marry like her siblings were instilled in her from an early age. Josie, like many of her Duggar relatives, was brought up to think that courtship, not dating, was the way that young adults should approach relationships. Josie has succeeded in forging her own path in life, defying the long-standing norms and expectations of her family. She took a giant leap towards self-determination when she met her partner in a world far from the severely regimented Duggar household. Not only did her wedding signal the end of her single life, but it also her coming into her own as an independent woman. Leaving the Duggar past behind, marriage serves as a symbolic transition for numerous Duggar offspring. But Josie's marriage choice was special. As she embarked on her adventure, Josie found herself unlike her elder brothers, who had already embraced traditional family responsibilities. She had to break away from the expectations placed on her. As a child, Josie was constantly seen as the baby of the family, and her elder siblings frequently tried to guide her decisions. Josie is emerging from the shadow of her family's past and into a world where she has the freedom to select her own path. Now that she is a married lady, she made it clear via her wedding that she was ready to start a new chapter in her life, one that doesn't fit the stereotypical Duggar profile. Even though Josie values and honors her family, she is prepared to forge her own path in life, unencumbered by her background. This is a huge departure for Josie, who has spent her whole life in the spotlight, constantly watched by the public. How Josie has developed as a person outside of the realm of 19 Kids and Counting has been one of the most remarkable aspects of her story. Josie has forged her own path in contrast to the traditional gender norms and family values emphasized by her reality TV show. Her wedding, with its contemporary elements and personal touches, proved that she is free from the rigid conventions of her childhood, beginning a new chapter with her husband. A big element of this new chapter in Josie's life is her new husband, whose name many admirers are still curious about. They crossed paths while Josie was trying to escape the paparazzi's attention on the Duggar family. Unlike many of her siblings, she and her husband have a more contemporary and intimate view of marriage based on mutual respect and understanding. Josie and her husband's romance evolved more organically than the typical Duggar courting in which parents frequently micromanage their children's interactions. Building a stronger foundation built on trust, communication, and similar values, they got to know each other outside of the confines of the family's values. Josie sees this relationship as her chance to finally live her life as she pleases, away from the constraints imposed by her family's prominent status. Celebrating the couple's special journey together was the theme of their wedding ceremony. Compared to the lavish celebrations attended by the Duggars' extensive families and devoted fan base at their previous weddings, this one was more modest in scale and attended by close friends and family. As Josie is a symbol of her growing sense of autonomy, Josie wanted to have a small, intimate wedding to commemorate her new life away from the prying eyes of her famously famous family. Accepting self-sufficiency. For everyone who has followed Josie's journey, her marriage is a watershed moment, both personally and symbolically. She is breaking free from the constraints and expectations that have defined the Duggar family's public persona, and it signifies a major shift in her life choices. Having spent her formative years as an integral part of the Duggar family, Josie is finally coming into her own as a married woman. When Josie gets married, a lot of people think that's it for the show. The final frontier of the Duggar heritage was often viewed through the eyes of the youngest Duggar child. The fact that Josie is now a wife implies that she and her husband will be establishing their own path in life rather than continuing in the family business. As Josie and her new partner set out on a path in life that is less likely to be controlled by the Duggar family's prominence in the media, it will be interesting to observe how they manage. She makes a strong message about individuality and the freedom to choose one's own path in life by rejecting the Duggar conventions. Perhaps Josie is finally letting go of her childhood and her family's expectations of her by getting married. A journey of self-development. Although a few of the Duggar children have discovered fulfillment within the framework of their family's values, Josie has chosen an alternative path. She has matured as a person to marry while she is still figuring out her place in the world. Instead of blindly following a set course, she is actively shaping her own destiny. This is the road she should take if she wants to be happy, strengthen her marriage, and be true to herself. Reflecting on Josie's formative years reveals her remarkable growth. She overcame severe health obstacles at her premature birth and became the youngest Duggar. Because she triumphed against enormous odds to become a successful young adult, she became an inspiration to countless individuals. The journey comes to a close with her wedding, marking the beginning of a new chapter in her life where her decisions, not her birth circumstances, will determine her fate. Both her fans and her critics can take heart from her decision to pursue her dreams independently of her family. It exemplifies the idea that paying homage to one's roots while still adopting a unique identity is totally doable. It's clear that Josie's path is unique, even though it differs from that of some of her other siblings. Proximity to future events. Following Josie's journey as she enters this next phase of her life will be an intriguing experience. A lot of people have paid attention to the Duggar family for a long time, and that won't change since Josie has decided to marry and adopt a new lifestyle. But her marriage is more than a snapshot in time. It exemplifies her maturation, autonomy, and will to live life according to her own rules. Josie has a bright future ahead of her. Whether she wants to keep sharing her story or choose to fade from the limelight, she has proven herself capable of taking charge of her life, making her own choices, and building an authentic and satisfying existence. Joined by her husband in this new chapter, Josie is clearly more than just a member of a famous family. She has always been independent, and her marriage signifies the start of a new chapter in her life. Having witnessed her transformation from a preterm infant into a self-assured young woman, her story has served as an inspiration to many. With her marriage, Josie leaves her role as the baby of the Duggar family behind and embarks on a life driven by her own ambitions, goals, and fantasies. It's a life that will be just as remarkable and special as she is.